Morning. We write that Christ candle to symbolize the spark of divinity within us all. And this morning, let's take a nice deep breath. Let yourself drop down into your heart. Thursday night, we had a unity community session here. We were talking about gratitude, and then we shifted to appreciation at the end. And then recognition of that spark, that beautiful light inside. Turn to your neighbors now and say with me, I am grateful you're here. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I appreciate you, Landis. And just notice how much the energy rose when we all greeted each other that way. How beautiful it is to see the light in another and share it with them. Tell them, speak to them, and recognize them. Recognize that spark of divinity inside, that holy presence that watches over us, that's part of us, that we are part of. Gratitude, thankfulness, appreciation. It's not just part of the season that's coming up with Thanksgiving. It's a part of the way you can live each and every day. So I'm grateful you're all here. I appreciate each and every one of you. And so it is.
one?
Ooh Child. I know the song, but I can't remember.
I know. I saw it, but I just don't remember who they were. Who is it? Five somethings. Yeah. Something like that. Google. Google.
I was going to give you a hug, man.
Five stair steps. There you go. Well, good morning, Unity. Good morning. Welcome to Unity's Sunday service celebration. Seeing all of your beautiful smiling faces, I get to actually have a tiny experience of the sun looking at a sunflower field. All your shining faces are staring right up at me. How beautiful is that? Not intimidating at all. So my name is Noam Stark, and I have the honor of serving on your board of trustees as treasurer. I also want to say a warm welcome to all that are watching us on the interweb in all forms. Thank you so much for being a part of our service. And please like and share comments as much as you'd like. Someday we hope to see you here in person. Is there anyone here that is joining us for the first time this morning? And who wishes to raise their hand? All right. Okay. Well, here at Unity, what we like to do is we like to have a personal blessing for those who come. And so you're in for a treat. On the back of these packets, there's an information page where you can fill it out and get our bi-monthly newsletter. That's all we do with that information, so know your information is safe with us. We are honored to have you join us today. We did. And so now we're going to warm our hands up for a special blessing. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Okay. Woo! The Christ in you refers to the spark of divinity that we all have. That was the same quality that Jesus found and was. Are you okay?
She has dementia and she gets overwhelmed by crowds.
That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine. No. Please let us know what we can do to make her more comfortable. We would prefer that. That brought forth in his ministry and demonstrated. All right, so this is the first time I'm doing platform, y'all, so I am. Well, thank you. All right. So Unity of Chattanooga is a member of the Worldwide Ministries. It's a movement started by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore 125 years ago. We're a spiritual community that offers practical, uplifting resources to help all people of all faiths apply positive spiritual principles and practices to their lives. And I lost my place. Our spiritual teachings can make a positive change in our hearts, minds, and futures. We welcome all people and honor all and value every person. We believe that all people deserve to live in peace and harmony. We choose to embrace the rich diversity of God's oneness, celebrating differences in opinions, beliefs, and identities. We honor the universal truths in all religion and respect individuals' right to choose their own path. And wherever you are on your journey, we are extremely happy to have you here today. Unity and what brought us here, you know, it's funny because you have these events that happen in life, right? And where we were before just caused us to say, okay, we can't be here anymore. We need to find a new place. And at the time, of course, it's not a fun place to be, but where we are now, which is a year later, we are so much happier. And the fact that unity gives you this liberation of the ability to go wherever you want with your spiritual path and not be judged, because we're all so different and we don't know everything of what our path is going to be before us. So we need the freedom to go in any direction that we choose. And this is a beautiful place to be able to do that. So I'm just so grateful to be able to be here with you all, discovering and seeking as everyone else is on their own personal journey. So I'm grateful to share that with you all. Thank you. So now we have a few announcements coming up with events that you may wish to add to your calendar. What do we got? Okay. So Friendsgiving is coming up. It's a potluck this Wednesday. No? Yes? Yes. The 19th at 6:30 p.m. right here, right in this space, where we share fun, food, and fellowship. There'll be a sign-up sheet in the back where you can not only let us know you're coming, you can also let us know what yummy dessert or dish you plan to bring. And that would be super helpful. Next would be the house band. Our in-house Unitics, they were not able to play during our fall festival, but the good news is that they're going to have a concert Saturday the 22nd, and it's going to be a live in-person event. And this will be a little bit of a fundraiser. It's going to be Feel Great Music, and it'll be featuring Tony Carter, Steve Hastings, Nicole Wellington, Lori Love, Heath Lumen, and Corey Mayo. And the Unitics will be performing 2 sets of uplifting, toe-tapping, hand-clapping, sing-along music for us all to enjoy. This is all going to be a fundraiser for the Building Expansion Fund. So the love offering or suggestion is $5 a person. Please feel free to bring somebody with you. There's also a musical meditation. Awesome, we are on track. That's going to be held on the 29th from 2 to 3 p.m. And this is going to be a little different than what we typically have with the singing bowl meditations. And please forgive my pronunciation on these instruments. I'm sure I will not do it justice. But the dulcimer, the meditation lyre, and then kentel, it's going to be really interesting. So when we were here with the Fall Festival, if you had a chance, you would see, what was the gentleman's name? I know it's here. Yes. Bob Worth had beautiful instruments, and when I connected with him to have him to be a part of the Fall Festival, he was so excited because he had had experience with Unity before, so he was just delighted to be here and super stoked. And he was explaining that these instruments are very different frequencies than what you would experience on a typical sound bath, so that there is a whole other acoustic frequencies that your body gets to play with and go through. So this should be a really interesting experience for all. The suggested love offering for this sound bath will be $10. And on Thursday of this coming week, November 20th, we have Wellness Warriors, which will be gathering again at noon. And next Sunday, our guest speaker is Karen Claypool, and she's an old friend to both Christ Unity Church and Unity of Chattanooga, and will be presenting in Everything Give Thanks. Really, truly. Today, our beautiful prayer chaplain is Keith Noyes, who's right over here, and he will be willing to meet with you in the back office for private prayer if you would like after service today. And now is the time when we all get up and gather, although if you all wish to just fist bump or say hi, that's fine, we're okay with that, where we are going to welcome each other with a handshake, a hug, a fist bump, or a simple namaste. Maybe for this just moment, we'll just be a little quieter than we normally are because we have a guest here who's sensitive to sound. That would be awesome. Thank you, and listen for the gong. been working with the Angels this morning, and they pumped me up full of all kinds of good stuff. So.
As I asked him what it was, and nobody here knew what it was.
Yeah, I know, right? I think we're there. Where'd Penny go? Yeah, you ready? Oh. Yeah. Oh. I'm first. There you go. Good to see you. Yes. No. Thank you.
Great job. You're doing great, girl.
Love you.
You're doing great.
Okay. Penny's gonna kill me if I don't gong soon.
Keep doing that. Carol.
Thank you all. It was a, I love our rambunctiousness and I love how we love connecting, but it was great that we could be able to be considerate. I appreciate that very much all. Well, today we have an extraordinary speaker. We have our very own in-house guest speaker, Eric Miller, who's going to be talking to us. Ever since he moved to Chattanooga from Las Vegas with his beautiful wife, Laura, who hides behind the AV system there, they both stepped up into service and are dedicated members here at Unity. Currently, he is a monthly platform host, which I definitely can respect even more since standing up here. But he also helps out with the PowerPoint slides, and he also runs the Wellness Warriors group, which is a very significant healing group if you ever want to partake. He also overtook the building maintenance when Kelly Thompson moved away, so we appreciate you for doing that. Thank you. He and Laura have hosted several 7-week spirit group book studies in their home very successfully and have had lots of high rave reviews about that. He started out as a member at large on the board and is now serving as our board president. But his most passionate endeavor to date has been the creation and dream of the building expansion fund for the new sanctuary for this beautiful house of hearts that we have. To date, we have collected over $44,000 in this fund, so we're very grateful for that. And in which $6,000 Eric and Laura have put forward, so they are standing behind their passion with all heart. So we appreciate that. Eric has spent decades immersing himself in New Thought teachings, and he enjoys getting to speak now and then with Unity of Chattanooga, and we are grateful to have him. His topic today is why wishful thinking is not positive thinking. Would you please join me in giving Eric a very warm welcome this morning?
Thank you. Yeah, make the speaker cry before it gets up.
Oh, yeah,
Thought we were friends. Oh, wow. Well, it's an honor to join you all again. It's like Noam said, this is a special place, and it's funny how synergistically things work. But several weeks ago, when I was trying to come up for a topic for this talk, I wasn't sure what I wanted to talk about, but I was feeling in awe, and Keith touched on this, and Noam did too. I was feeling in awe of the energy that brought us all here from different places, or even in Chattanooga, I've lived in Chattanooga 20 years, you know, and what draws people together. So I started thinking about, you know, that array of forces, the circumstances, the crazy, circuitous, seemingly coincidental things that happen, dumb luck events that shape our lives, that shape ultimately, right, not only our individual journey, but our collective journey when we're on, like, you get into a flow. So I thought, well, maybe I'll offer up a few practical, useful tips from some of my new favorite authors for getting what we want in this life, and tips for finding and discovering our highest and best good and staying on the divine path forward. And I asked myself, was I okay with this being another law of attraction talk? You know, do people like law of attraction talks? Is it, you know, get a little bored of them sometimes, or, you know, personally, I usually find them useful and helpful in reminding me whenever I hear them that whatever I want at that time, it's like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. You know, how can I manifest that? But at the same time, I wanted this to be more than just another law of attraction talk. And Charles and Myrtle Fillmore started Unity not as a church. They started it as a school of practical Christianity, a place of positive and uplifting, empowering community of students that were seeking useful, practical, day-to-day tips for living a healthy and healthful life in the here and now. You know, they didn't talk about guilt and regret, sin, or about a bad place called hell, or, you know, the pearly gates, the judgment at the pearly gates of a good place called heaven. You know, they were all about the here and now, both practically and spiritually. So I scratched the surface of this law of attraction kind of thing to see if I could find a deeper subthread. And I was pleasantly surprised and pleased with how things evolved. My mind kept circling back to two of my favorite books, Belong by Radha Agrawal, which I've talked about before, and Life Visioning by Michael Beckwith, which I hope, if you're not familiar with, check it out. But neither of them were fitting nice and neat into the train of thought that I thought I was on. So then I thought of two of my other favorite books and jumped on that express chain to more indecision. With The Gratitude Formula by Mae McCarthy and The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I was like, oh, instant synergy. There's some synergy there. So my train tracks were suddenly kind of new and improved. My compass started finding, you know, a bearing. That foggy mountain pass I was on started to flatten out, so I could finally see a horizon that started to look like, oh, maybe that's a place where a good idea might live, you know. And then a really weird, unexpected coincidence happened. How many people believe that coincidences aren't really coincidences, by the way? Yeah, like 50%? Yeah, me too. So I was downstairs. I was downtown checking out the public library down there on the third floor. They have this third floor with printers and T-shirt printing stations and all this stuff. I was looking at all this stuff. I was thinking of how Unity of Chattanooga could use this to make banners and whatever we needed to, you know, get our beautiful little logo out there into people's eyes. And I happened upon a book called 59 Seconds. And the subtitle was Change Your Life in Under a Minute, tied into this title, 59 Seconds. So I scanned the table of contents and read the chapter summaries to see if I was interested. The very first chapter was entitled Happiness. And it started out with a conundrum that really grabbed me. Why positive thinking often fails. And then chapter 3 was entitled Motivation. And it started out with an equally vexing notion, the dark side of visualization. Yeah, what better way to bait a Unity person, right? So guess what? I had it in my mind. I have a brand new Chattanooga Public Library card. I went and filled out my application. I had to, you know, take that thing home. And because, to be honest, there have been times in my life where positive thinking hasn't worked, you know? Or at least it hasn't worked as fast or in the way that I was hoping that or I would have liked to. Anybody else ever find themselves floating on that boat a little bit? We like to cover all kinds of different modes of transportation in New Thought, don't we? Last week, Sean O'Shea was talking about the bumpy rides of airplanes and getting to a higher elevation. Today, talking about trains and boats looking for clear event horizons. Next week, we'll probably be talking about lunar cities and rocket ships. Let's stay grounded where we are right now. So wow, a chapter on why does positive thinking fail and another chapter on the dark side of visualization. Are we even allowed to ponder those possibilities in New Thought? Are the New Thought police at Unity Village already on a plane on their way here to Chattanooga to take me for a short walk on a long walk on a short meditation path? Hold on, give me a minute. Bear with me until I get here. Hopefully I'll be able to talk my way out of these two sacred thought no-nos. But I got to admit, after reading the chapters and considering the author that the research that this author did of 59 seconds, his name was Richard Weissman, by the way. He's a psychology researcher and teacher in England. And very much the lab coat and clipboard kind of guy, but he does have that sort of wry sense of dry English humor every now and then he throws in. But I understood why he came to the conclusion that positive thinking doesn't work and visualization has a dark side. And that understanding actually validated the core message I was trying to put together for this talk from those other 4 books I mentioned: Belong, Life Visioning, Power of Gratitude, and Power of Now. But it turns out he had a very limited definition of positive thinking. He basically defined it as the attempt to push negative thoughts out of the mind. And then it dawned on me that I've met a lot of people in my life, and people that we come into contact with, I have conversations with now, who've been kind of Unity. We saw The Secret in 2008, and that kind of, and we joined Unity, 2016 or so, yeah. But I've met a lot of people that, they do have that impression of positive thinking, that it's simply, pushing negative thoughts out of our mind. And I was like, I don't believe that, but other people do, and I see where they get it. And I was trying to say, I've met those people even in Unity and other spiritual communities. But he cited some interesting research. Several studies where researchers again and again over the years have found that telling a group of people not to think of a polar bear, for instance, don't think of polar bear, all right, causes them to, guess what? Keep on recurring every 15 seconds or so. He hasn't said anything interesting for a couple seconds. I'm going to go back to that polar bear. It's true, I know. These studies didn't just use polar bears, though. They also used very real-world situations and potential situations in our lives, like world events. The latest daily news. How many times do we cycle on that as we're driving and we're mad? We hear someone's voice that we don't care to hear, that we don't like their voice, and they're on the radio. But it can be the death of a loved one, a health problem, a financial problem, unfortunate events in the past, other things. But the results are always the same, right? The majority of test subjects could not stop thinking about whatever they were told not to think about. So we concluded if we tell ourselves not to think of something negative, most of us will automatically keep circling back to that negative thing again and again. I missed my note for the first slide. Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry. I've got some slides coming up. But his research proved, and he cited other research too, that again and again, you tell people not to think of politics, or not to think of their health problem, or not to think of the financial, it eats away at us sometimes, right? We can't just push it away. And how many of us have already circled back to polar bears a couple times? Thank you for being honest. All the rest of you are liars. But, so in his limited, very narrow definition and test of positive thinking, he's right. Most people struggle with blocking negative thoughts, especially if we're told to, or we think we should block negative thoughts. But is that really the definition of positive thinking? Not really. For Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, the founders of Unity, it certainly wasn't. For Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of CSL, the Centers for Spiritual Living, we have a couple of speakers. Sean O'Shea, he's a CSL minister, right? Oh, Divine Science, yeah. Similar New Thought. But for others, Eric Butterworth, Michael Beckwith, Mae McCarthy, hundreds of New Thought leaders, that's not the definition of positive thinking. Because positive thinking does work. It works for millions of people, right? I think it's worked for many of us. Because not because of not thinking about what we don't want. I know that's a double negative, so I put it up. Positive thinking works not because of not thinking about what we don't want, but because of thinking and visualizing and moving forward with what we do want. There's action involved. And this brings me to the fundamental and crucial difference between positive thinking and wishful thinking. It's taking action. It's taking action. When we just sit back and go, gosh, I wish I had a shiny new, I saw a really cool, it was a Hot Wheel. It was literally a Hot Wheel. 1930s, 40s, Ford Vicky, in really good, he even had like kind of the mag wheels, kind of the Hot Wheel mag, but it was just this little coupe. And he was motoring along. It wasn't just, he was in the fast lane actually. And I was but whatever it is that we see, positive thinking, if we want something, we can get there, but it involves taking action. Wishful thinking is wanting to be healthy, but just taking every single pill your doctor pushes on you and hoping that they work. Wishful thinking is wanting to connect with others or someone special, but never leaving your house or just going to your job and commuting back and forth. And oh gosh, I wish I could meet somebody. Wishful thinking is wanting to have more money, but not budgeting or getting a second job, or worse, spending what money you do have, what little extra money you do have on lottery tickets for a 1 in 300 million shot at, your destiny. Wishful thinking is wanting a new job, but not looking for ways to meet your new, any potential new ideal employer. Wishful thinking is wanting a new car, but not reprioritizing our budget or even going out to look at new or used cars that we might like. But positive thinking, on the other hand, is wanting to be healthy and changing our diet, adding some daily exercise to our routine, visualizing on ourselves on that vacation in the future, taking action. We want something, we think about it, we put it into motion. Positive thinking is maybe researching and trying different alternative therapies. It's one thing I've done. And listening to our doctors, but saying no to the endless prescriptions that they give us that aren't working and lots of times have some pretty bad side effects. Positive thinking is wanting to be part of a community or meeting someone or making a new friend and going out and getting involved in groups that we like and that we feel a passion for. Without intent or expectation, though, without the intent, but with appreciation for the connectedness and the community that we find. Because ultimately, way leads on to way. And many people think that that is a Zen or Taoist saying from way back when, but it's actually from a Robert Frost poem, The Road Not Taken, that was published in August of 1915 in the Atlantic Monthly. And that poem, you can tell I'm a writer, right? Authors, give authors their credit. That poem also includes the famous, and I think equally spiritual message, 2 roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Anyone familiar with that? May ever have that in an English class or something? But it's so true, right? I guess you could kind of call Unity currently a road less traveled by, although I see it's expanding into a freeway pretty quick. But positive thinking is turning a desire to have more money into a daily gratitude practice for the blessings we already have. And then picturing ourselves visiting the places we want to visit and doing the things we want to do when, not if, we have the money to do it. but also at the same time trimming our expenses, looking for a part-time job maybe, doing something, changing something, getting involved, action, not just idle sitting back. So positive thinking is not lamenting about what we don't have yet in the present, or going out on a blissed out spending spree and maxing out our credit cards because we're positive thinking. That's not being positive, that's avoidance. And maybe stupidity. Not to judge, but it works the same way for finding a new job, finding a perfect roommate, place to live, a new used car that we like, anything. Because the world is our oyster, right? We can have, but have you ever tried to shuck an oyster? Has anybody ever shucked an oyster? A couple people. It's not easy the first time. It's not easy the first 10 times. And it requires a knife, a very, very sharp knife that can cut both ways. And that's sort of like life, isn't it? But you know what? Professional oystermen and chefs wear a thick, have you ever seen those big, thick black rubber gloves that they wear when they're shucking oysters? And they don't rely on not thinking about accidentally cutting themselves. They go out and buy themselves that thick rubber glove to use on their job. And I'm just continuing metaphors here. They hold that oyster, that world, that pearl, right in the palm of their hand. Right? There's some metaphor there. Who knew that oystermen were such spiritual examples? Who else now is in the mood for a bunch of fresh out of the water oysters? Because I know I am a little hungry. Positive thinking boils down to more metaphor there, boils down to talking about what we want to happen more than we talk about what we don't want to happen. It's not about ignoring the risks, the bumps and the bruises, the unexpected setbacks that are in our path sometimes. It involves taking them into account, but staying at least 51% focused on what we do want to happen. Or better yet, 60% or 70% of what we do want to happen. And I mean, I just personally know that this works, and we've done it. We did it to move across the country and change things in our lives back in Las Vegas, and we didn't know how, we didn't know when we were going to find a place in Chattanooga. The market was going crazy. Everything was selling off, in 24, 48 hours, and we didn't even live here. But we landed, everything worked out. 6 weeks before the movers were coming, all of a sudden a house came available. It's like, oh, anyway, we stayed focused on the possibility, and with our not defining exactly where it had to be, but staying clear on that intent. Because when we don't have all the answers that we need at the moment, positive thinking is about appreciating the beauty of the day, the kindness of strangers, and ultimately each opportunities that come our way to make more money, to find a new job, to make a new friend, to find that perfect roommate or perfect someone, or find whatever it is we're looking for. Because the best way to make positive thinking work is to start with gratitude, build on appreciation and desire, and do something towards our goals, and let way lead the way. Esther Hicks called it upstreaming. People familiar with Abraham Esther Hicks a little bit? Yeah. And that's just all about, you're getting into the vibrational frequency. You're getting into of what you want. Because good and positive emotions vibrate at a higher frequency. Anger, fear, doubt. We're all electrical fields. And so when we walk around, our state of mind determines our electrical field. So that's interacting with other electrical fields. And that's where the law of attraction comes in. If we're vibrating at a higher frequency where we're taking the time to think about ice cream instead of being in the waiting room at our doctor's office, that's when we go into the grocery store, we're going to be thinking about ice cream instead of that visit that we just had, or that long wait we just had at the doctor's office. that's going to determine who's in the aisles. You know, our electrical field is connecting with other electrical fields around us. And depending upon how we're moving, we can, it's absolutely palpable. And I invite people to try this at the grocery store sometimes. Go to the ice cream, the dessert section, and just hang out there a couple minutes. Don't loiter till security comes after you, but you know, just notice the vibe there. And then go over to the mops and cleaner and insect row. I'm serious. I mean, if you're unsure about what I'm saying here, you will be able to detect the difference in just that vibrational energy, the difference between aisle 16 and aisle 14, you know? Because the people that are in the ice cream aisle are having dopamine hits. They're looking for it. They're like, ooh, what's my favorite flavor? Oh, I like all of them, you know? I mean, ooh, look at this. I've never had this. When you're in the bug spray section or the mops and cleaners, right? It's not the same vibe. And that it's true in all parts of our life. That same way of moving through the world. We have that power. So then we get to, and that's the upstreaming. So we get to, gratitude is an internal feeling of happiness for the things that we have and that we want to receive. Appreciation is the outward expression that recognizes and values the contribution of others for our feelings of happiness. So when we put those two together and have them work in tandem, that helps us vibrate at those higher frequencies. So no matter where, you know, next we're going to the mechanics to check on, you know, okay, you know, what's the status of my car? If we walk into there, and that's what belong is all about, by the way, is the energy that you bring into a room, being conscious of it and setting it before you go and noticing, ooh, I'm a little agitated, I'm scared, let me change that, because we're all walking, talking, breathing electrical fields. And we all know we get along with some people and not in others, and you can tell. You walk into a situation and you're I don't like the vibe here. That's our body telling our mind. Usually it's the other way around. It's our mind telling our body where to go. That's our body telling telling us, hey, watch out, or be aware. And you don't have to be psychic to feel the difference. You know, looking out over the Smoky Mountains with a dozen strangers on a turnout in November or October at all the fall colors has a different feel than being in that doctor's waiting room and all the people that are whispering to each other or maybe sitting there all alone, you know, and that is an electrical charge that I invite you all to explore this coming week and feel that connection, because that is the key to positive thinking, is vibrating and sending out electrical patterns that either connect with, amplify, or repel the energy fields around us. And that's how way leads on to way, because literally we're guided by the electric currents of life. I know I'm going a little long here, but I had an interesting experience on Shallowford and Claude Ramsey the other day. I was listening to beautiful meditation music in the car. It was beautiful. I had my window down. I just made all the lights on Shallowford, which never happens. And I missed the light to turn on to Hickory Valley by one car. And I was chastising myself because I was in the Prius. I could have cut through the ice cream parlor. I could have gone in the exit and then out the entrance, you know, and gotten weaved over before the... And so I was sitting there chastising. I was like, what? You know, it's like, I got to get home. I had a lot to do. And all of a sudden, this woman is shouting at me in the car next to me. And so I couldn't hear her. And I turned down my meditation music. I wasn't blaring. I was blaring meditation music. I admit it. And she's like, hey, can I turn in front of you? And she's this older lady, her hair's like bling, and she's, her car is all like bedazzled and everything. And I'm like, I'm kind of in a hurry. And it's just like, and it's like, could you ask the guy behind? Now, I was already a little bit ahead of her, and she's like, I don't know whether he will. And I look in my rearview mirror. It's like a 28-year-old in a pickup truck. And he's fooling with the dial on his, he's and his window's up, And so I was like, you're not going to go slow, are you? I literally asked her that because we're at the stoplight. And she's like, no, I'm not going to drive like a granny. I was like, she was a cool-looking granny, let me tell you. And so I was like, okay, come on. So I turned my music back up. And then the light turns green, and she starts yelling at me again. And I was like, yeah, go on. She's still talking. I turned my music down. And she's like, Jesus loves you. She wanted to say it, and she was in front of me. And then I was like, I know. And it set, if I had darted through the ice cream thing, that guy behind her, I would have saved, what, a minute and a half maybe of the light, 90 seconds. I was there to let her in, because otherwise she would have missed that turn, and there's no getting back on because there's a stream and then railroad tracks. You would have to double, either turn around. I don't know exactly where she was going. But I was actually in the right place at the right time. I didn't think I was, because I was like, oh, I could have done that. But there are no coincidences, It was being there, being okay being there. And I was a little irritated at first. I was like, you're bumming my flow here a little bit. But she didn't drive like her granny. She was shooting up there. And I saw the background. She was bedazzled. She was a cool granny. But it was all good because then she didn't miss her turn because I was there, and so I want to, that's the upstreaming that Esther Abraham Hicks talks about with being in that appreciative flow. And that appreciative flow helps us manifest our positive thinking. Because when we're vibrating at higher levels in electrical fields, we're attracting those higher frequencies to the people around us. Get to share some Myrtle Fillmore. She had some good things to say about this. No one, not even God, can change you or your circumstances as long as you insist on looking at and thinking of and worrying about yourself and your problems. Your problems do not exist except in your own mind. As soon as you withdraw your thoughts and feelings from the things which you have invited and built up, they will fall flat and dissolve. And then she asks, you asked me what restored me to vigorous health. It was a change of mind from the old carnal mind that believes in sickness to the Christ mind of life and permanent health. Be transformed, she quotes, be transformed by the renewal of your own mind, which is from Romans 12:2. And this really ties into a cool history fact. I love history. Marcus Aurelius was a Roman Empire. And he was an emperor during a period. Rome Empire lasted 500 years. And a lot of people, it's Julius Caesar and the Romans that, crucified Jesus. Pax Romana, peacetime in Rome, started roughly after the crucifixion, lasted about 160, 180 years. And Marcus Aurelius was one of the philosopher kings during that reign. And I read this and I was like, man, this guy he was preaching new thought in 160 AD. 160 years after the death of Jesus and resurrection of Jesus. Literally 2,240 years or whatever. Our life is what our thoughts make it. And if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this, you have the power to revoke at any minute. And that's what I was talking about, those electrical fields. We have the power to be aware of where our feet are and where our head is. Because we have the power over your mind, not outside events. And when we realize that, that's our strength. Events can't happen to us. We happen to events. I know it's wild, but it actually works. And I invite you to do that with the news. If you're a news junkie, I used to be a news junkie. Before you turn on the TV or go to your favorite website, or your least favorite website to find your news, think about what you'd rather see there. Think about, ooh, I'd like to hear a nice story about ice cream or polar bears. Maybe. I don't know where you came up with that. But, and see if it works. Try it a couple times, because you might be surprised it does. It does. You might turn the TV on with dread, but if you put intention before it first, miracles do happen. So, positive thinking or wishful thinking. The choice is mine, and the choice is yours too. And so it is. Am I doing the meditation too? I'm doing the meditation too, right? Yeah. All right. Oops. Okay. Let's all count to 10 as we take a deep breath in. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhale through your mouth slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You might notice you're exhaling a little more than you're inhaling, so do it again. Fuel up our red blood cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Release through the mouth. Let us all be here now. Be in our chair. Be in our bodies. Be in our feet that ground us to this great green and blue world we call home. Let us all affirm that we are creating sacred space together. Let's say it together. We affirm that we are creating sacred space together. Divine Creator, we give thanks for this day and this thing called life that we are so blessed with right now. And we give thanks for all the blessings in our lives, in our over-anxious, overstimulated anxiety about this and anxiety about that world. This space, this sacred space, is a special, safe sanctuary because it's a positive place, a place of hope and comfort. It's where we learn about and discuss and use tools to reduce and manage all the day-to-day challenges and spiritual uncertainty in our time. We breathe. We breathe with possibility, infinite possibility. And we choose the infinite potential in connection with Divine Spirit today. Today, tomorrow, and all of our tomorrows, with love, light, and gratitude, because we are all divine spirits with divine possibility. And that's not wishful thinking, that's positive thinking, because we are positive that it works. And so it is.
Nice job, Eric. I'm actually looking forward to going to the grocery store and checking out my vibrations in different aisles. I think that's a great idea. So now I'm here to talk about the electrical power of money. So this is the time in the service where we get to practice prosperity. And this is when we get to allow the feelings of abundance to flow right through us as we touch that unlimited divine source that's within each of us. You know, if you're ever feeling any lack, it's only because we've forgotten that prosperity and money are energies that not only flow out from us, but miraculously flow right back to us. So, just like Eric said though, this takes some action, like opening up your wallet or writing a check or taking your phone out and looking at Venmo. And I invite you also who are on the internet to go to our secure website because we want you to practice your prosperity too. So I invite you now to take your love offering and tithes, and let's say our affirmation together with one voice. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, and I receive in abundance. Usher, step forward.
As I open up to be an expression of your unfolding peace, show, Spirit, show through me as I open up to be an expression of your unfolding love.
So we give thanks for each giver and for each gift that have been given freely from the hearts filled with abundance and overflowing with love, going forth to bless this church, this community, and the world. We thank you, God, and so it is.
All right. Thank you, Eric, so much for that lovely talk. It brought me back to that processy of trying to get out of the negative mindset and how hard it is and how you can't judge or shame yourself in any direction. And what I had to actually do was just keep adding positive. And then eventually it shifted without me doing the work of overthinking. So that was helpful. It was a lot more background around that information. Thank you so much for that beautiful talk. And before we end our service, we're going to be switching all of the chairs around and converting this over into a beautiful feast. So please feel free to assist with shifting that up. And thank you all for service. Oh, that's right. Stand for the peace song. So sorry. So sorry.
2, 3, 4. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be with God our Creator. In oneness are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.